So I've realised recently that my work has been a lot more influenced by kind of new games journalism. This very personal approach to critiquing a piece of art, I suppose, and and I want to kind of share why that is, and also kind of the drawbacks, I suppose. The reason I'm doing it is because it's kind of an experiment, and I quite like experimenting with how I work. I originally started out being very much, must cover graphics, gameplay, sound, etc., and being very analytical and scientific in that way. And I think that's got its place. GameSpot, IGN, they've made businesses out of doing that kind of thing and slapping a number on it, and very quantitatively measuring a product. Brilliant, that's fantastic. And I used to be like that. I used to kind of write a lot like that, but more recently I've kind of been experimenting with this NGJ kind of stuff and putting a lot more of my own opinion into things, and kind of working on past experiences and personal experiences, and perhaps things that don't have anything to do with the games themselves, but are sparked and are reminded. But games kind of remind me of these past experiences, and kind of interweaving that into my work. And so, yeah, I'm kind of experimenting with that at the moment. And it is very interesting, and it's much more fun to write in that way, personally, I feel. I don't ever want to, or at least at the moment, I should say, I don't want to go all the way into this kind of realm of review, because I do believe that, you kind of should cover some of the bases. You should cover what something looks like, what how it handles, how it interacts, how this interactive art actually physically interacts. You should cover those, but I've kind of learned that I'm not really interested in the absolute mechanics and specifics of how something interacts. I've kind of moved my reviews away from talking about, and if you press the A button, then you will do a jump. I think there is definitely a space for that, but that's not really me at the moment. So, yeah. So I'm kind of moving into this NGJ stuff, and that's fantastic. I'm really, really enjoying it, and I want to see where that's going to take me. And I'm just about to start a piece on Gran Turismo 5, which Sony very lovely sent me. I don't know how that happened. So I'm starting this piece, and it's going to be about how I used to be very much into Gran Turismo 2 and 3 and 4, and how and kind of extrapolating on that, and how I'm going to be a racing car driver, and how I was a racing car driver, and how I kind of fell off the wagon, and now I'm back on with Gran Turismo 5. And hopefully the hopeful product at the end of this is that I'm going to review Gran Turismo 5. So have 2/3 of an article, and it's going to be kind of across a few weeks, but the first 2/3 of the article are going to be this kind of story NGJ kind of piece, and then at the end of it I'm going to kind of subvert all of that personal experience, and so on, with a kind of graphics and sound and gameplay, and that sort of thing. And I want to see whether or not that would be an interesting route, a kind of story-driven almost piece, and kind of creating my own story from this this kind of brilliant driving game, and kind of juxtaposing that with actually analytically kind of looking at a piece, and actually kind of judging it and giving it a score at the end of these few weeks that I'll be doing it. But onto the negatives. I mean, so I always thought I was kind of fairly thick-skinned. I don't know if I've said this before, but I used to do a lot of acting, personal stuff, and when you're an actor, you have to be able to take on criticism quite a lot, and I thought I was quite sort of thick-skinned, but doing more of this personal NGJ kind of stuff and putting my own writing out there and having it to a large audience the criticism I've got for those pieces has affected me a lot more than much harsher comments on more standard, I suppose. Not standard's probably not a great word for it, but more quantitative reviews that I've done. So I don't know. I suppose what I'm trying to say is I'm learning that I'm really enjoying writing in a more personal, more experiential kind of way. You know, I enjoy that kind of perspective a lot more. But the downside is that I need to learn to take criticism a little bit better, I suppose, and kind of realise that people who comment on N4G probably aren't the most intelligent people that are on the internet. Yeah, and that's just about it, I suppose. So leave me a comment on this video and let me know what you think, and let me know what you're up to. Well, you could do that if you want. And follow me on twitter.com/XeroXeroXero, which is of course at XeroXeroXero. And I will see you soon.